Hi everyone. Now, at the moment I'm filling this box. Now this box is basically a mix, basically different patterns. There are flies I've tied recently in the last week or so, or 2 or 3 weeks, sorry. And I've just built the box up just on suggestions from yourselves. Now this one I'm just about filled. I've got just a single, I've got the middle row here to fill to do. And basically one of the flies, they were all flies I was asked if I could tie, or there was a tying method within that fly. Could I show that? So I obviously used a fly or a pattern to demonstrate that method. Now this is basically an all-rounder, as I call it. It's an emerger fly. This is a Bibio, very popular colour combination of black with red in the centre. Now this is one I've tied, it's hard to tell when I tied this one, when I first tied this fly. The Bibio's been a long time, but the style, well, it'll be 20 plus years anyway. It was for Lake Teeth, believe it or not. The only lake in Scotland. And so basically, in the competition angling scene, it's a very good fly to have in your box. And anywhere you want to fish, when you're, especially for rainbows and brown trout, and when you're on the river, or in this case you'd be on the loch. It's a nice wee pattern, and I'm going to be tying some of these for the box, but I'm going to show you how to tie this one, particular one. Now, the hook I'm using, I'll just zoom in a wee bit so you can see it a bit better. This is there's basically a short shank special. It's a full mill hook. It's got a wide gape. The gape's equivalent to basically a size 12. But the body, or the shank length, is equivalent to a size 14. So it's a really good fly for emerger-like patterns, because you can obviously come round the bend a wee bit, just like in this dressing. Now, thread, I'm just using the Unithread 80 in black. Because I'm going to start at the eye of the hook. It's very simple to tie. We come down to, you can bring the thread to give you an idea where the wing is tied, is from the point of the hook to towards the eye. So I use that as a guide for the body, obviously, and I'm using a flat tinsel. This is a small, proper tinsel which is made of tin, and it's basically nice. If you don't have that, just use either a wire, or use a mylar, or use what you have. Now, to help the taper of the fly, I like to come up a good half dozen turns or so. That'll blend into the taper of the body. Now, I'm using the black fur here, and believe it or not, I found this packet. This here is, I used to brush my son's dog, Floyd, who is a golden retriever, a golden lab, not a retriever, a lab. And I actually dyed it black to see how it worked. Now I'm going to actually tie the fly with it, and it's actually really good. So if you're brushing your dog and the hair's there, it's worth using. So this is, I'm going to rename this as Floyd, Bibio Floyd, or something like that anyway. So anyway, there we are. Body goes on really well. We've got long hair here we can remove. You use what you have, obviously. Seal's fur or something like that would be ideal. And so anyway, we wind up the tinsel rib. You want a good rib on it. I'm just going to trim this away. See how it sits, just prepare it now. The red, I want to be able to see the red, so I've got this is the red seals fur, and it's not Floyd, but anyway. You want either SLF or something if you haven't got this, or use any sort of dubbing you like. But we want to be able to see the red though. So we tie that in. Take away, and I'm going to stroke it back so then it becomes like drawn into the dressing. Just the longer fibres, and just use the thread turn to hold it back. There we are. Now I'm using, this is CDC dyed black. These are sort of large feathers I have, which I've just dyed black. Now you can use, like in this case, these are quite good feathers actually. I'm going to use one, though you probably may sometimes need to use two. I'm just going to be quick check, see what it's like. Now I want it to the back of the hook. Maybe pull it in a wee bit. Now to save waste, fold it back and then at an angle trim it. Because we do throw away a lot of good quality fibre. Just going to slightly taper it. And you see how it blends nicely into the dressing, but it actually makes it float a bit better. Then I'm going to put some more of the actual black into it, the black dubbing. Slide it up. There we are. Now I'm going to put some legs on it. Now I've got so basically that's your Bibio, a wee bit of a wing there. Get some red, this is dyed red, pre-knotted pheasant tail fibres, obviously off a cockbird. You could probably use a hen bird as well, but they're a wee bit shorter. Geez, some of these are broken, to see where the best ones are. And what I'm doing here is I'm just counting the ends. So there should be 6 there, yep. If there is a broken fibre, there is 1 or 2 there that's broken, you can pull them in, so you can, into that shit, or you can just take them away. So like this one here, that's a whole one, so just bring it back in line. Now I'm going to at least get 3 either side of the body. And there we go. You want to see this, the red's nice, you could use black if you don't have the red. Catch this in, 3 or 4 turns, make sure it's secure. Now before I go, just make sure I'm happy with the position. Aye, that looks fine, I'm happy with that. Just trim that away. Then I'm going to get another feather. So we've got a single feather here, tie this on, goes to tip. Just much the same, just slightly, so it slightly tapers into the fly. Now again, come down a good 4 or 5 turns and then just draw it back. We can always tidy this up with a bit of dubbing. Come in at an angle and taper it into the dressing. Use your finger to hold it. There we are. And then again we can a wee bit of dubbing here. Just a wee bit of Floyd. Just going to through some of the cut ends there a wee bit. And there we are. Now I'm going to finish off with some deer here. Just making sure I've got enough dubbing there. I may put a wee touch more in. And if you're not happy the way it is, then you can always, I'll just dub it in. A wee drop more. I just want a wee bit more leggy. It's that you make this fly float and the dubbing helps. Now that's a nice head length there, a good mill and a bit. I'm going to finish off, as I say, I've got some dyed black deer here. Don't be shy with it. That's good. Trim it away, make sure you remove the fluff or the underfur. Because it'll stack easier if you do that. The wrong stacker. Tip first. With this here it's quite a large fibre, so I'm using the large stacker. Some broken ends in there so we can take them away. Usually the broken ends, you see they're thicker, so you can get them with your nail. Just use your nail and your finger there to draw them away. Now I'm going to basically tie it like an elk hair caddis. So I'm just going to sit on the top. Now before we do that, make sure you've got wax in your thread. And then, because it'll give you the extra grip you need. 2 or 3 turns to get it seated or sit, so it's sitting nice. And then with the cut ends, just lift them up and come in between. Either 1 or 2 turns, depending how you feel. Just leave enough at the head area to come in with some turns. Always keeping the thread tight. And then you can put a varnish on the thread. Tighten up. Draw your thread. And bring out our cut ends. and then cut at an angle. Just use the angle of the eye of the hook to kind of give you a couple of mil from there. And then you can tap it with your finger. And there we are. That's the Bibio. It's the Allrounder, obviously. It's Floyd's Bibio, if you want to call it that. But there you go. Nice pattern. You can see, it it sits nice in the water. It floats really, really well once you yank it up. It's a good individual fly, as much as you could fish it with other flies. It could be the top dropper. It just depends on the style you want to fish it. It could be in the middle. It's a good middle fly as well. It's just getting a balance to where you're presenting it more like a natural, depending. If I was fishing this as a dry fly, I would just fish it itself, because I knew if they were taking, say, a heather fly or something, or a midge coming off, I would quite happily fish it itself. But if I'm on the boat drifting, maybe I'd put it in the top dropper and fish it with a nymph in the point. So there's lots of ways you can present this fly. So as I say, it's a good all-round pattern and a nice dressing. So I hope you enjoyed that. And again, if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.